Dear respected Thầy, dear respected brothers and sisters, dear beloved community, may we listen 3 sound the bell to start the beginning a new presentation tonight. So, dear respected Thầy, dear beloved community, tonight is August 21st, 2024. We are in the Earth, Our True Nature retreat at YMCA of the Rockies in Colorado. And for the next hour, I would like to share with you the practice we call beginning a new practice. So my name is Sister Moon over the ancient temple. Every time I introduce my name, the people laugh. And we are happy because I have the special name. Given by Thầy 2010, 14 years ago. So Thầy called me Sister Moon over the ancient temple. And I am the youngest Dharma teacher to share the practice in here for this retreat. And thank you for my elders that they support me and they have touched on me in my practice. So tonight I will share something very special. That's first time in my life I share in my practice in real for the beginning a new practice. So last night when I heard Paul share that the special one in his life is the relationship, the healthy relationship. I am so thankful for that sentence, for that sharing. So we are here to build our wholesome relationship, that the relationship have nourished us and bring us happiness and support us to suffer less. So when we will practice the beginning anew, you know that as a monastic, we do practice beginning anew every day, every moment. So beginning a new practice is the practice for ourselves. We do beginning anew with ourselves, and we do beginning anew with others, with our family member, with our friends, with our sangha, our community. So for the monastic, we do beginning anew with ourselves every day. So when things going well, we also do beginning anew. When things happen that we have a little bit suffering, we have some misunderstanding, some difficulties between the relationship between ourselves, with ourselves, and between us, with others, we practice beginning anew. So 14 years ago, I first ordained and I was a Sister Chân Không attendant. You know, we are lucky that we have chance to do attendant for Sister Chân Không. And in New Hamlet in France, we have dining hall of New Hamlet, very close to Sister Chang Khong's room. So after lunch, there was a long line of lay friends to wait for consultation direct with Sister Chang Khong. And when I was attendant, I sit in front of the door to open the door for one friend come and close the door. And 15 minutes, the door opened, and that people came out of the room with totally different face. You know, I first ordained, and I don't understand what is the miracle in the room. You know, I am attendant, so I open the door. Everybody only have 15 minutes because the line very long. So before I open the door, the friends come to the door. They are sad, some tear, and they tired. But when they enter the room and I close the door and I sit there and breathe, after meal, you know, breathing in, I know that I'm sleeping. Breathing out, I know that I'm happy to be attendant. And after 15 minutes, the door opened and the lay friend came out. They're very fresh. Their smile very fresh. And a lot of them hold my hands and told me that that's a miracle. I never heard something like that. I will put that in the practice. So our first Dharma teacher to share the beginning of new practice in Plum Village tradition is Sister Chang Khong, Sister to Emptiness. And you know, many family, many friends, many father and daughter, mother and son have a broken relationship. They came to Plum Village and they asked for Sister Chang Khong. And after 15 minutes, they're happy. And I don't know why. I didn't know the miracle of that. I didn't know. But after 14 years of practice, now I know. So tonight I will share the secret. So the beginning a new practice have 4 steps. But it's not a technique. It's a way to be mindful, a way to be happy, a way to practice. So we don't come to the retreat, or we don't come to the monastery to learn the technique, because we don't have technique. We have the way to be mindful. So the first step we call flower watering, the expressing gratitude. So I'm lucky that I was a novice around Thầy for like 4 or 5 years for my first ordain. So I learned a lot from Thầy. Thầy have the capacity to water flower on each of his disciples, very skillful. Thầy have very skillful way to water the flower on us. And I learned a lot from him. And I learned a lot from my elders too. So, like the flower here, the sister offer the water every day to keep the freshness. So ourselves too, we are flower. And our partner, our mother, our father, our daughter, our son also flower. So every day we offer them some water, good water. I would like to introduce a chant that Thầy wrote to water the flower on Mother Earth by the Sutta. We call the Sutta the praise of Mother Earth. Sister Ang Han will read for us that version, and you may learn and you may listen how Thầy water the flower for Mother Earth. So could you please, maybe before that, may you invite one sound the bell. Thank you, Sister Ang Han.
praise of Mother Earth. Homage to the refreshing Mother Earth Bodhisattva, Mother of this world, of all species. We turn to you with profound respect, the beautiful green planet in the midst of the sky. You who have given birth to countless species, produced infinite wonders of life, loved in the ultimate sense of non-discrimination, embraced all species, not barring a single one, loyal and reliable, inclusive and stable, the mother who sustains all species. Countless bodhisattvas have sprung up from your fresh green lap. Mother, you embrace and transform, healing humans' hatred, creating new life day and night, blooming with heavenly flowers.
Thank you, Sister Gratitude. You know, our mother have that kind of characteristic, and the good news that she transmitted to us already. We are a child of the earth, so we have all that inside of us, all that quality, that's positive. The only one condition to manifest that, that's we practice. We only need one more condition for that, is the practice with community. To manifest the good quality inside of us, we already have all of that. So one of the practice in monastery that the monks and nuns, we did every day, that the 5 contemplation, and the special one is the first one. So every lunch, almost every lunch, we do 5 contemplation before eating. So we bring our body and our mind together in the here and now. And then we listen from the bell master, brothers and sisters. They will share to us that this food is a gift of the earth, the sky, numerous living beings, and much hard and loving work. This is the practice of flower watering for all the food that we receive it. As a monastic, we live very simple life. We only need 3 meals a day. Some of monastic only 2 meals a day, and one place to save at night, to sleep safely at night. So we share the room, 3 or 4 sisters or 8 sisters in the same room. We have 3 meals, vegetarian, and we practice to enjoy the life very simple, but very happy. So this is a happy moment. Is it better? Okay. So thank you. So every day, a lot of monastic, we have the habit to write the diary we call Kung Fu book, that we share the practice for ourselves, or we write the love letter for ourselves. It's the way to practice our flower watering. This today I did sitting meditation well. I follow my breathing in, breathing out my breath for 10 minutes in concentration. Or today I can stop my habit, my negative habit. I'm happy with the practice, have joy in the practice. This is a way to water the flower in ourselves. And we need that for ourselves. So the capacity to water the flower for ourselves, when we can do it, we can do for others. It's a lot of people think that they offer the good thing for others, it means that they're happy. No, we need to offer the flower for ourselves first. We need to care for ourselves first. And we need to recognize our beautiful elements inside of us first. So, and we all have that in ourselves. I often listen from my monastic sibling that ancient temple is the one who very kind, who happy to support others, who willing to offer her hands to contribute things for togetherness. So I know that, and it's come from my father, it's come from my mother. And I often water that flower for me again, every day. That today you did good, ancient temple. You come with your sibling and you do things with your sibling. So after you do it for yourself, you feel very free, very natural to do it for others, for your husband, for your wife, for your daughter, your son. Before the practice, I have the very wrong perception in myself that when I see someone with the beauty and the not beauty, that my mind goes in the not beauty. So I am afraid to share the beautiful of them. But when I practice, I recognize that, oh, inside of me, I still have not a lot of not beauty elements. So it's the same. To accept, to recognize the beauty is a way to support us to bloom more. Because the career for the practitioner, the practitioner only do two things. One is cultivate happiness, and another one is transform suffering. But don't wait until we transform suffering, then we have happiness. It will be too late and too long. So do it together. Or do the cultivate happiness more than transform suffering at the beginning. So when we have more happiness, our happiness will easily embrace our suffering. So the practitioner only do two things. One is cultivate happiness, cultivate gratitude. And another one is transform the suffering, transform the loneliness, fear. So the first step we call flower watering, expressing gratitude to ourselves and to our beloved one. It's easy. We can send the message, we can write the email, we can share, or we can look very deeply in their eyes and share, this is a happy moment. Thank you for your coming. So only very simple, but the powerful, very big. And the one who received that kind of water, the fresh water, that flower, have the confidence that they are beautiful. And that make our relationship more benefit, more happy. So it's very easy to apply this first step, and we do it often in the monastery. So may you bring that first step with your life and practice that for yourself and for your beloved one. And the second step, we share sharing regret. This is the beautiful step, sharing regret, that when we hurt somebody, when we make something that ourselves suffer, we need to say sorry. So I will share with you a story about attachment love. Sister Kính Nghiêm, Sister Chicken, share with you the story with her father. And Brother Pháp Lưu share with you the story with his mother. I will share the story with attachment love. But before that, may we listen one sound the bell. May we close our eyes, relax our shoulders. This is a happy moment. I am here for ourselves. We are here for ourselves. So, dear friends, the second step, the sharing regret. In Vietnamese, we call tự tĩnh. It means self-awareness, self-awakening. So from ourselves, we see what we have done, what we have said, or what we neglected to do to hurt people. So this is the practice that share to apologize, to say sorry. I will share my attachment love with you tonight. When I was 19 years old, I met a young man who was also 19 years old. So how many of us entered the first love when you were 19 years old? Oh, I am your team. We were together. We first met each other in the city library. We were 19 years old together, preparing to go to university. We were fell in love for first sight, both two of us. It was a legendary moment. "19 years old, together we moved from our city. Our city is third city in Vietnam, in Da Nang. So together we moved in the big city, Ho Chi Minh City, for university. So we have attachment, a delicious attachment love for 8 years. Yeah. So for first 4 years in university, it was very wonderful. So I remember that the first day for university class, he came to my class, sit next to me. And he came to shake hands with all the men in the class. 160, half of them men, shake hands with them, and I am her boyfriend. 19 years old. And he brought me to his class too and introduced, she's my girlfriend, everywhere. And we had only one bicycle. So every day he need to bring me to the class, my class on the left side, and his class in the right side. So he brought me by bicycle there, and then go back to his class, and at the end go to pick me up, and then we all go back to the dormitory. We were so hungry. Yeah, but it's very, very nice. And all our first years, we only study. We are the only member to each other in the big city. Our parents far, they are another city. So we take refuge in each other. We study, we work, we grow up with each other. And we were supported by our parents too. So from one bicycle, we have 2 bicycles. And then we have 1 motorbike. And then we have 2 motorbikes. And we have a lot of happiness. And our attachment love, very attachment. That's I call first 4 years with the love, with innocence. We are pure in love. We learn how to take care, how to love. But after university, we start to work. We went out with society, and we start to have difficulties. We start to have suffering. And, at the young couple in the big city, and then we start work. My education background was sociology, and he's a business. So we slowly go to two directions. I take care of the poor people, the woman, the children. He built his own company and he raised a lot of money. I have a lot of people and we don't have time for each other. And loneliness came, become our third one to separate us. And I feel that I don't have enough freedom in this relationship anymore. And our topic was not together anymore. Because at that moment, I didn't know the practice. I didn't know how to embrace my loneliness. I didn't know how to embrace my suffering. And he too, we didn't know. We are too young. 20-something in the big city is too young. No parent, no supporter. And I don't know why the university teach us a lot, but they didn't teach us how to suffer less. But they ask us to work for people to happy, but they don't support us the way to suffer less. So because sociology working, I work for poor people, I work for children, so I listen a lot, suffering. And all that, the technique I learned from university, I have people from here to here, and I burn out. I didn't know anything about total relaxation, about sitting meditation, about eating meditation, walking meditation. I didn't know anything about that at that moment. So after 4 years, after working, after university, I decided to stop the relationship. It was so hurtful. I remember the day I told him that I decided to stop because I don't feel I have enough freedom. And he cried. He told me that we are together from zero for 8 years. Now you stop. Who will go with me? And how is my life? We cry. When the relationship ends, we still love each other, but we don't know how to love. We don't know how to build the wholesome relationship anymore. All is the memory in the past. The present is no happiness, no confidence, no freedom. And I don't want to be in that relationship anymore. I told him that I love you, but I don't know the way out. May we stop? And many years later, when I ordained, I was in the Sangha after 6 years. I have tend to do home visit, to visit my parent. And he called to ask to meet me again after many years, almost 10 years. And I have time to practice sharing regret with him. That is the first time he saw me as the nun form. And I see him again after my say goodbye. You know what I did for the first time I see him again? I asked him, if you want to see me, you bring your wife and your children with you. And he did. That's a condition to see me again, that bring your wife and your children with you. And you know, the first thing I did, that I hold his white hands and say, thank you. His wife and me now, we are best friends. Because we know how habit he is. I hold two hands of his wife. I look at her eyes very carefully. And I told her, thank you. Because of you, we are all happy now. Because I have a happy life now, very happy. But if he
didn't have a happy life, it also hurt me. So you are the condition to bring all of us happiness. That is the first practice, flower watering. Because I see in his white eyes have something I don't know to share, but I know that I need to share that with her. Because of you, we are happy. And I share the regret with him in front of his wife. I'm sorry that I didn't know how to breathe. I didn't know how to take care of my fear. So I bring all my difficulties from my work to the relationship. And I hurt you a lot. I asked you to do things for me a lot. But I didn't care enough for you. I didn't listen to you. I know that after one project you get stressed, but I didn't spend enough time for you because I didn't spend enough time for myself too. Because at that moment I was suffering and I didn't know how to suffer less. That's why I pour all the suffering on you in the relationship. I'm sorry about that. And you know, he did the same. He said, I'm sorry too. So lucky that we have the practice. He entered the practice after that too. I have the community too. So we liberate the suffering in the past for each other. That's the good news. So if in your heart have something heavy, you want to say sorry to yourself after few years of practicing, to share with your 30 years old, your 40 years old, your 20 years old, you do it for yourself. I often do it for my 19 years old girl. I'm sorry. At that moment, I didn't know the practice, so I hurt you a lot. Do it for ourselves. And then when you have the good habit, that the capacity to say sorry, that thing we have done wrong, so we have the capacity to say sorry with others. I learned from the Western culture the capacity to say sorry. In my Asian culture, it's rare to say sorry. My father never say sorry. My mother never say sorry. But the way they say sorry is different. It's the way they care, but they don't share in work. But when I ordained and I live in the West now for 14 years, I learned from your culture. I learned from your beautiful culture the capacity to say sorry. I'm sorry that I did wrong in the past. Everybody did wrong something. So we just say sorry. And we change, we practice, we transform. So to go to the fourth step first before third step, because I would like to share that the fourth step is asking for support. That after I received the lamp 4 years ago, 2020 in EIIB, Germany, so I sent him an email, a letter, to ask for his support, that may I share our story, because I am now a nun. So I need to share the practice, and the practice need to be real, need to be true. So you will be in my story, but I'm guaranteed that I will not share your name. I will not show your picture, but I need to share the real story from my life. And you know what did he do? He said, yes, follow the nun. Lucky that from attachment love, we together transform, become true love. Now we love each other with less condition. We don't need to hand in hand. We don't need to live in the same house. We don't need to live in the same country. We don't need to take care each other. But in our heart, we have each other like a best friend, like a spiritual friends. And often I receive the message from his wife about, today he did that, he did say that, he hurt me. I know everything. Because I experienced for 8 years. I know that. But the practitioner, when I practice, I know the way to support his wife, to sufferless her, to show her the practice, to embrace her even though by the masses. This is the benefit of the practicing. This is the help from the nun for the couple. That's I love them. Their children call me Mommy Nun. I have one boy, one girl call me Mommy Nun. I am very happy with that. And his wife very close to me, and we talk often. And I only do one thing, one step with her. The first step, flower watering, because I know how much suffering how much difficulties she will bear with the family. The mother for 2 children, with the husband who raised a lot of money and would like to have a wife in the house only. To cook good, to sweep the floor good, to do things in the house good, and letting go of her own dream is not easy. I cannot do it. I cannot do that. That's why I run away. So that's why I say thank you for her again, and again. Because I know how difficult she is. So every time I send her message, I do only the first step, flower watering. You are so wonderful today. Your smile so fresh. Your children so beautiful. You are a good wife. Because she happy with that position. She chosen that position. I'm not. That's why I support her. This is the true love from the nun. So may we listen one sound of the bell before we go to the third steps. So, dear beloved community, the first retreat I enjoyed with the Plum Village tradition is Wake Up Retreat when I was 27. And, whenever I listen Thai Dhamma talk, and then Thai share about the Father and the Son are one. The Father and the daughter are one. You know what I did? No, 2. No. 1, not 1, 2. And the tear came out because I have suffering with my father. And for the first time, for the practice, I didn't believe that I am my father continuation. I didn't like him too much. Because we have a very good relationship when I was a child, under 13 years old. But when I entered the teenager, in my families that have difficulties because of my father encounter of the difficulties in his work, and he gave up of the challenges. That's why he bring a lot of suffering for the family. And I took a lot of time to practice to heal my father inside of me, to share with my father, to express a hurt with my father. So for those who first practice, beginning of new practice, I propose that you don't do it first. The third step is the difficulty step. So don't do it at the beginning. You master the first step and the second step first, and then we practice the third step, because the third step we need more understanding and more love. So I enter the Plum Village practice with a lot of joyful from wake up retreat, and also beside of the happiness, I bring the suffering with my father enter the monastery, and I spend a lot of time to healing the inner father inside of me. You know, when we sit still, when we walk still, when we in the retreat, the happiness come, but also the suffering come. It's normal. If you come to the practice and you will see that I only pick happiness, I need only happiness. Come to the monastery, become a monastic because of happiness. No, it's not. When you are quiet in the mind's consciousness, its thought consciousness slowly bring to you homework for you to practice. So when I sit still, the hurtful, the memory from my father that at late at night he came home with alcohol and yelling on his children. He has 3, my elder sister, my younger brother, and me, to wake us up at 11 p.m., to push us to study, to go to university, to overcome of the difficulty of life. Don't like him, don't like him. I remember always that memory in my mind that study, even though midnight, study, because if not, you don't go university, you have no future. And pushing like that. And because at that moment, I don't know the practice, so I create the hatred, the irritation in myself a lot. So one of the decisions that I make to leave my family in the big city to another city, to university, because I want to far from my father. But you know, if we don't transform, if we don't practice, the hurt still here, and we cannot have connection. Luckily that I wrote all my suffering for Thầy. Thầy knew everything about my suffering. And you know, when you wrote something for Thầy, it means that Thầy will give you homework. And as a novice, Thầy called me to Hermitage often. Every time Thầy saw me in Upper Hamlet, New Hamlet, Low Hamlet, Thầy asked, did you do my homework? And Thầy homework is write a love letter for your father. You know how I can write the love letter for my father? At that moment, I still have a lot of difficulties inside of me, how I can hate letter better than love letter. But Thầy didn't allow me to write that hate letter. Thầy asked me to do love letter and send copy to him. A novice for 1 year, 2 years is difficult. It's difficult. But I need to do homework because Thầy never give up. When they see you, ancient temple, next letter, I'm waiting. So I do my homework. I did my homework for Thầy, and thanks to Thầy, that Zen master stick that they give me, Zen master homework they give me. And I did cry a lot when I write love letter for my father. But it's only the way to go through that suffering if you want to grow up in the spiritual practice. So a lot of letter with a lot of knife, scissor, arrow in the letter. But Thai didn't allow me to send that letter. So I need to keep that for myself, burn it and write again until Thai agree. Then I sent that letter. I was very obey that Thai tells anything, I did it. And one day I discover I have a small insight that liberated me, and it reconnect, and it free my inner suffering father inside of me. That the moment after sitting meditation, and one insight comes up in my mind that my father never had a father. Because of the war, after my grandfather gave birth to him 1 week, they lost each other in the war. So my father grew up along with my grandfather. Very difficulties, very difficult. And he didn't experience any love, fatherhood. He didn't have any father in his life. I know that. But my mindfulness, so my mind only pay attention that the thing that he could not do well, but I didn't pay attention that the thing that he could do well. He did well from his children. He brought us a lot of happiness. He tried his best to offer us a good life. We can enter the university from his money. But I didn't appreciate that. I only pay attention about his difficulties, his suffering, his mistake, his shortcoming. And that moment, I was so shocked. Oh, because of you, ancient temple, it's not because of Father. And the more I read about my Vietnam history, about my father time, the more I understand the difficulties of this time. He has no choice for the career, for the work. He didn't have good condition like I have now. He was not lucky than I am. But he tried his best to offer his life, to offer for his family, his children, the best that he can. That insight liberated my suffering with my father. And because living in the community, our brother and sisters support us in the practice, and they teach us how the way out. So we do it, and then the insight comes. So I tell you, when I asked my parents to become a monastic, my father told me that, no, you are still big. You finished university, you earn good money, you have good boyfriend, you all have house in a big city, your future open bright. Now you decide to become a nun. No, you no longer my daughter if you become a nun. It's were hurtful too. But I know that is his wrong perception about monastic in Plum Village tradition. I keep continue for my way. And 10 years later, he told me in front of my elder brother and my elder sister and my younger brother, you are a good daughter. Because When he needs support, I support him. The capacity of the practitioner who support the old man, embrace the suffering, embrace the fear for my father that he need when he turned to 70. My elder sister bring money for him. He didn't need much money at 70 years old. 3 meals a day, that's good enough. He has his own house. He didn't want 2 houses. So the things that my father need when he turned to 70 is how to embrace his fear. And I have that capacity. And the way I share the expressing I hurt for him is make the relationship better. It's not about, Father, you remember when I 13 and 14, you did that and you hurt me. I didn't do that. I didn't show that. But before the practice, I did. Before I met the Sangha, before I met the community, I did. I often write a love letter for my father and told him that, Daddy, you remember last night you drink alcohol and you came back late and you do that. And I put in his pocket at the midnight. Because he woke me up, asked me to study. I didn't do study. I write the letter for him to show his mistake and put in his pocket. 14 years old, 15 years old, 16 years old, you did something crazy. I did it. And I told when I ordained when I was 29 years old. And I told Thầy what I did. And that's why they asked me to do homework, write the love letter for him. So when I practice, I have the practice. The practitioner have the way to express a hurt that's not hurtful. Because of understanding, the capacity to love, to understanding, to see that we are lucky than the people hurt us. Because we have the practice. We are in the good condition. We have wholesome friends support us. When I suffer, I call my sister, my brother, sit and listen to me. But when my father suffer, he smoke, he drink. He didn't have wholesome friend. He didn't have a wholesome community. So I'm lucky than my father. So the third step is sharing, expressing a hurt. It's not a blame them. It's not for argue. It's a practice. And the only way that the practitioner show the expressing a hurt, that we come back to the simple practice, to daily, the basic practice every day. So may I ask, how many of us maintain the practice 5 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day, like walking, sitting, drinking, listen Thai Dhamma talk? How many of us? Oh, everybody. So you are good practitioner. You see, we are lucky. We have practice. We know the way to show a hurt that not hurtful. And the last step is asking for support. This step, is it difficult for you, the Western people? Difficult, right? Yeah, I understand. It's easy for Asian people because we have the togetherness. Togetherness in our culture is very, very much. So we often ask for help. Like when I don't know anything, I ask my mother, I ask my father, I ask my friend. But now it's changing. Now the young people in the Asian culture too, it's difficult for them to ask for help. But I think that one who dare to ask for help is the hero. Is the one who know that togetherness will heal us. independence sometimes good, but sometimes will bring out us loneliness. But togetherness, sometimes too much is not good, but balance that togetherness will be good. So don't dare to ask for help. If that thinking, the negative thinking lasts long to your mind, is too long, you ask for help. Luckily, yesterday I met a friend and he asked me a question, and I'm so grateful to his question, that how I can stop my parents' suffering in my life, don't transmit it to my son. I love that question very much. How I stop my suffering from my father transmitted to me, my mother transmitted to me, so that I will not transmit to my niece, my nephew. Only one way, that find the way to forgive our parents. Forgive, accept our parents, our ancestors. Find the way to understand their suffering and find the way to see that we are lucky more than them because we have practice, we have wholesome community, we have wholesome friends, we have good environment. And the moment I remember, the moment I wrote down on the paper that I am now suffer enough, I don't want anymore. Make that decision, make that commitment. So whenever the suffering from our ancestors come, we breathe, we do sitting, we do walking, we drinking tea, we drinking fresh water, we listen Thai Dhamma talk, and we have Dhamma sharing with the community. We stop the suffering, we transform the suffering, so that we don't get that kind of suffering become a negative habit in us. Only that way we will not transmit for our new generation. And the second thing that we can do to ask for support, that we offer the practice for our new generation. So as soon as possible, if you have the skillful way to offer the practice for the son, for the daughter, for the niece, for the nephew, you do it. So like the day, at the end of the day, of the working day, you are tired. I remember to ask myself, to help myself, when you are tired, don't talk. When you are angry, don't talk. You talk too much, ancient temple. When you are suffer, don't talk, but smile. If you don't talk, but you make your face like this, people will suffer. And the suffering come back to you very early, very soon. So often tell ourselves, I have the habit of running. I'm sorry that I am the one who run very fast in my mind, in my habit. I have a big fear transmitted from my blood ancestor. I have a lot of fear. You know, even though my elder call me ancient temple, I'm fearful. But they call me to ask me the very normal things, or even though give me something good, but if they call ancient temple, so the fearful comes up naturally. I know that's the transmitted from my ancestor. That's why I ask myself to support myself. Whenever the fear comes up, breathe, don't talk, but smile. But if the situation that I talk, because you know, we know the practice and we do the practice in two different steps. You know, you read a lot of books, but The insight from that book come from the practice, not come from the reading. So asking for support. You have your community, your sangha, your beloved one. Even though they don't practice, it's okay. Just ask them for support. Dear my beloved one, my mind now full of anger. Could you please take a walk with me 10 minutes? Or could you please turn off the television for 10 minutes for me to balance the noise in my head? Ask for help. Dare to ask for help. Ask yourself, help yourself. Ask others to help yourself. Ask for help. And the one who dare to ask for help is the hero. The one to want to build the good life, the good relationship, the wholesome relationship. Because at the end, when we ready to say goodbye with this life, we only bring one thing, that's happiness. And we try to embrace, transform the suffering. So we don't bring much suffering, but we bring happiness. We bring our good action with us. In order to have good action, we dare to ask for help. Please help. So that's, I think, all I have. I think 1 hour is that good enough for you to sleep well tonight. And I know that my English not perfect. I am improve myself my English. So thank you for listening. Thank you for your supporting. I'm sorry, one last thing. So in order to practice 4 steps, I create my breathing corner. That is the teaching from Thai. Thai offer us the breathing room. If in your house you have one room that's free, you turn to breathing room. But in your house, you don't have on free room, you turn a corner, we call breathing corner. So every monastic, we have our own breathing corner. So may I inspire you to make your own breathing corner in your room. That's the spiritual corner for you, where you can sit, where you can read, where you can listen, where you can breathe, and where you can come back to yourself and to practice 4 steps, where you can put a calligraphy, a flower, a teacup, a sutra, and only 5 minutes a day. That's good enough. You do 5 minutes a day continuously better than you do 1 day a week. Only 5 minutes or 10 minutes, believe me. So this is the beginning, a new book from Sister Chang Khong. It's all the story and all her insight in this. I learned a lot from this book too. So if you want to discover more story and more the skillful way for beginning a new practice, you may find this. And if you want to enjoy the sutra that Sister Ang Han read for us, you may look for this book. This called Chanting from the Heart. It's all the sutra for us to practice. So you have this in your spiritual corner, the breathing corner. Every day you read 1 page or 2 pages and apply in your practice. That's all the monastics do every day. And we have a happiness life, a happy life because we maintain the practice. So thank you very much. And we may listen 3 sounds of the bell to end my sharing.